Do you hear that gentle sound? Do you feel that delicious cool breeze? That is the sound and sensation of my brand new rooftop mounted air conditioner that was sent to me by OutEquipPro in exchange for my honest review, and I'm going to tell you all about it today. My name is Andrea. I live full-time in my 24-foot converted school bus, and I've been living full-time in this bus for almost 3 years. And for the 3 years I've been living in this bus, I have not had AC. For anyone that lives the nomad life, you know how challenging it can be to live in a vehicle when you don't have an air conditioner, especially in the summer months, because not only is it absolutely miserable during the hottest parts of the day, but it limits the types of places that you can go. Some of my favorite states are in the South and in the Southwest, and between the months of June and August, I can't really visit those places, or I haven't been able to visit those places in the past because it's just too hot and it's just too uncomfortable. And so I decided that this year was going to be my last year living without an air conditioning unit. So I started doing my research on air conditioning units that are low wattage, low profile, and low cost. And I discovered OutEquipPro, who makes an air conditioning unit that is designed specifically for RVs, buses, and vans. This AC unit runs directly from 12-volt DC from your battery system, which is perfect for me because I pretty much exclusively boondock. I have 1,200 watts of solar on my roof, and up until getting this AC, I had 460 amp hours of battery capacity. And so I needed something that I could run that wouldn't pull a ton of power because I still need to power all of the other things inside of my vehicle, specifically my refrigerator, my lights, and being able to charge all of my devices. This unit has a cooling capacity of 10,000 BTUs and a power draw of 58 amps on turbo mode, 29 amps on eco mode, 21 amps on sleep mode, and 4.5 amps on fan-only mode. I opted for the version of this AC unit that also has the built-in heater because even though I have a diesel heater and a wood-burning stove, you can never have too many heating elements inside of your bus, especially in wintertime. And this built-in heating mode has a heating capacity of 4,500 BTUs. Unlike a lot of the other rooftop AC units that are used on RVs and buses and vans that are really bulky and really heavy, this AC unit is much smaller in that it weighs 45 pounds, which means it's much easier for the everyday person to install, and it has a low profile capacity of just 6.3 inches. When it comes to noise comparison, I don't have anything to compare it to because this is my first time having an air conditioning unit installed on my vehicle, but I have to say that I find the noise level to be very low and it doesn't disturb me at all. The only time that you hear any loudness is when the air conditioning unit is first kicking on, and even then the noise is quite minimal, and I'm told that the reason why this unit has a much lower noise level than other types of rooftop air conditioning units is because of the inverter compression technology that this AC unit has. The air conditioning unit also comes with a battery-operated remote that allows you to control all of the features and functions from the panel of the remote control. The only thing that I don't like about this remote control is that I have not figured out how to turn the temperature from Celsius to Fahrenheit. So when it comes to the runtime of the air conditioning unit based on your battery capacity, I was given an example of potential runtime based on a 200 amp hour lithium battery. What I was told is that you have an estimate of 2.7 hours of full cooling in turbo mode and 6 to 7 hours in real world mixed use when it's in eco or sleep mode. Prior to me receiving this air conditioning unit, I had one battery from Epic at 460 amp hours, which is a lot of battery capacity, but it didn't feel like it was going to be quite enough for me in terms of how I was imagining using this air conditioning unit. But I was assured by the people at OutEquipPro that I would have the following estimated run times. On turbo mode, I would get 7.9 hours of runtime. On eco mode, 15.9 hours of runtime. Sleep mode, 21.9 hours of runtime. And on fan-only mode, about 102 hours of runtime. So even though that felt like a great amount of runtime for me because I am constantly and consistently powering other things, I decided to double my battery capacity just for my own peace of mind, but it isn't something that is necessary. So I ordered a second battery from Epic, have that installed, and now I have 920 amp hours of power. And what I've noticed is on the days when I'm running the AC on full turbo mode for multiple hours, usually 3 to 4 hours at the peak of when I've had to use this AC unit, I've only eaten up about maybe 10% of my battery capacity, which for me is amazing. Now, when it comes to the installation process of this air conditioning unit, I can't speak to that personally because I did not install it myself. I actually took it to a van conversion company in the Bay Area called Northbay Adventure Vans, and they installed the air conditioning unit as well as my second battery that I added to accommodate what I felt would be more extended use of this air conditioning unit. And then there was a lot of rewiring and things that needed to be done. What I've read in reviews on OutEquipPro's website, as well as on the Amazon page where you can purchase this unit, is that for the average person, they're able to get it installed and up and running within just a few hours, depending on your skill set, the types of tools you have, etc. For my installation process, it was about 2 days of work and labor, but it wasn't just because of the air conditioning unit. As I said, I added in a second battery, and there was also work that needed to be done for cutting into wood and creating channels for running the wires. And it was a very intricate process based on my desires and my needs. But I don't believe, based off of what I've read from other people's experiences with this air conditioning unit, that you would need 2 days for the installation process. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to get any video footage of the installation process at Northbay Adventure Vans because the gentleman that did the installation did not want to be on camera. And so out of respect for their privacy, I didn't get any footage of that. But I will say that Northbay Adventure Vans did an absolutely incredible job installing this. And the owner of Northbay Adventure Vans, Gerardo, he was very skeptical when I told him about my air conditioner installation. He was very skeptical that based off of the amperage that this air conditioning unit gives out, that it would be able to cool off my space. But he was very, very pleasantly surprised once the installation was done and he tested it for himself to see that it did in fact cool down my bus. Now, once it was installed, I immediately put it to the test naturally. And because I got it done in the Bay Area, at that time, temperatures were pretty high. They were hovering anywhere from upper 80s into the low to mid 90s. So it was quite hot, especially being in a bus that's made out of steel that, in my opinion, unfortunately, isn't the most well insulated vehicle. And so it takes a little bit more effort to get this cooled down. But what I noticed was that when I would put it on turbo mode, I never brought the AC below 70 to 72 degrees. And I was able to get the entire bus cooled down to a very, very comfortable temperature for me within 20 to 30 minutes. What I noticed as far as the power draw is that the maximum amount of power that I was pulling when it was running in turbo mode in the low 70 degrees was anywhere from 600 to 700 watts of power, which for 920 amp hours of battery capacity really wasn't that much. I only was eating up, like I said, about 10% of my battery capacity, running it for 4 or 5 hours in the hottest part of the day while sitting in direct sunlight. Interestingly enough, since I've had this AC unit installed for the last couple of weeks, I very rarely have needed to use it on turbo mode. What I have found is that in combination with my vent fan, as well as some of my portable fans that I have within the bus, I've been able to run the air conditioning unit on eco mode or on just fan mode, and I've been able to get the temperature of my vehicle down to something that is really comfortable for me. If you're someone that likes to be in a very, very, very cold environment, you like your temperature, your AC to be set in the 60s or lower. I can't really speak to the cooling capacity because I've never needed to get that low, and I also don't like being that cold. I actually prefer temperatures that are more on the cool to warm side versus being very cold. And so for me, with what it is that I've desired, I've been able to get this temperature down very, very comfortably for me. And so considering that, I imagine that somebody who wants cooler temperatures would also be able to experience the cooling effect that would make them comfortable. It might require a little bit more battery capacity for you to do that, or if you're plugged into shore power, it's not something that you would have to worry about anyway. But for someone like me who boondocks pretty much all of the time, I'm rarely plugged into shore power and has a large amount of battery capacity, it has been a game changer for me having this air conditioning unit. Now, I'm running my air conditioning unit on 73 degrees. and it is about half capacity. So not quite on turbo mode, not quite on eco mode. There's a display on the air conditioning unit that I will show you in a moment that you can turn the fan mode up or down based on how much output you want to have. And so mine is in the middle range. And so with that, what I'm looking at on my solar monitor is I'm currently receiving about 550 watts of solar. And in my battery monitor, it is showing that I'm currently receiving, despite getting about 550 watts of solar, I'm currently receiving anywhere from 4 to 50 watts of power, because obviously solar will fluctuate. And so I'm consistently pulling about 150 watts of power just regularly. That's what my bus draws on a consistent basis, is an average of about 150 watts of power. Off the top of my head, it seems like this unit is only pulling about 250 to 300 watts of power right now. So with all of that said, the temperature outside right now is about 85 degrees, and I feel very comfortable inside of my bus right now. But if you are someone who wants it to be much lower than 73 degrees, you could absolutely do that and turn it down and get it much cooler inside of the space. It'll just be drawing a lot more power than what it is that I'm drawing right now. So based off of the specifications and the runtime estimates that I've given you, you can cross-reference that with what your current battery capacity is, and that will tell you whether or not you currently have enough battery capacity, or if it might be worth it to increase your battery capacity so that you can get more cooling time, more run time, and not drain your battery so that you can still use it for other things inside of your vehicle. So yeah, I feel like that pretty much covers all of it. I have been running the unit the entire time I've been recording this. Obviously, I'm speaking into a microphone, which is helping to amplify my voice, but I'm very curious when I edit this to see how much of the sound is going to be in the background. And the reason why I've done that is because I've wanted to make sure that you can hear just how quiet and unobtrusive the noise level is of this air conditioning unit. So if you have any more questions that I didn't answer within this video, please leave your questions down below, and I will do my best to answer those for you. And if I don't have an answer, I'll reach out to OutEquipPro, because the people over there are so knowledgeable and so nice, and I will get those answers for you. Also, let me know if you would like to see a video of me reviewing my batteries from Epic, because so far I've been using them. I've doubled up my capacity, as I said. And so if you want to get more information on my solar system, as well as the batteries that are connected to that solar system, I'd be happy to create a review for you guys. So let me know if that's something that you're interested in seeing. Also, I want to thank the people at OutEquipPro, specifically Michael, who has been my liaison throughout this process. I reached out to them because, like I said at the beginning, I did not want to suffer through another summer without an air conditioning unit, and they were so generous to send me this in exchange for my review. Even though it's only been a few weeks of me having this unit, it is the peak of summertime. I'm currently in New Mexico, where it is very hot, and I have been able to stay comfortable within my vehicle, which has been such a game changer, not just in my peace of mind, but most importantly, my quality of life. And I'm very grateful that now that I have this air conditioning unit, it will give me much more flexibility in the types of places that I can adventure to during the summer months. The link to the AC unit will be provided in the description box below. And as always, I want to thank you so much for being here, for watching my video, especially if you watched it all the way to the end. If this review was helpful for you, please let me know in the comments. Please leave your questions in the comments. And I would also appreciate it if you would like, comment, and subscribe, so that I can get this video out to more people, so that I can grow my channel and create more content for you guys as someone who lives full-time in my school bus. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time. Bye.